Well, I'm Willem. I've been managing this brand management project as a brand manager, and that has been really nice experience at Frontify. And I think the special thing about it is really the fact that we offer a tool for brand managers and doing brand management. So it gives it this kind of extra meaning, the stuff that I've been doing here. How were you involved? Well, I think I got into the picture a bit later. So the project started a while ago already. And then when I got to Frontify, it drew my attention. And I took a look at it. And at some point, people noticed it's such a big project that we need some extra people to actually do the work, to run the project, manage the process, and so on. So then I got into the picture, and basically I helped managing the process as a brand manager and also doing some practical work. Who else worked on it? Well, I think when it's about a brand, it's all about everyone in the organization. But when it comes to this project that we did, just in order to keep it small enough, it was still big enough anyway, we tried to make some kind of focus. And we defined that we mainly work with marketing and design professionals inside of Frontify and also some externals in the first place. And then to build a foundation, to build a good base for the brand, and then make a second team, create have a group of people that we could involve throughout the whole company, so that it wouldn't just be a design and marketing project, but something everyone would somehow be involved in. And in this project, we mainly worked with a feedback team consisting of people of different departments. And once in a while, we shared what we had been doing, we shared what we're planning to do, just to make sure that everyone is on the same page and we get good feedback. A great thing about the people who worked on this project is that it wasn't just people from marketing and design and some people inside of the company, but also some externals. So we opened up some new topics, we got some expertise in. For instance, we started to work with someone who was into audio branding, making sure that even our sonic expressions of the brand are in line with the rest. And also make sure that we don't focus too much on visuals and text only. So this is something I think that it wasn't really the main thing about this project, but it was really nice to have this as an extra. So we had one professional from Denmark who has been making music, has been working on our logo, our audio logo, so to say, and also on brand tunes and so on. So I think that was really nice, and the same goes for illustrations. They have been made by someone outside of the company, but from the city of St. Gallen. And this guy has been really doing a great job drawing illustrations for us, really making sure it's in line with the other things we are doing, so we could really create an own illustration signature with him. So it wasn't just our own team in-house, but also some externals who could help, and it was good to have them in there, to have just some other perspective. What does the reboot mean for my daily work? Well, I think the most important thing is the joy, actually. I really like working with brands, building brands and developing them further. So I think that was the main thing for me, just to be able to go to work and do things I really like. The second thing was really about being surrounded by people who had kind of the same feeling, so who also really liked building a brand, being creative, working on new stuff, rethinking a few things, reviewing materials and so on. So I think that was the second part that I really liked about it. The other thing that really made a difference for me was the fact that, as I said before, we are a company that is all about creating a tool for brand managers, for brand management. And the nice thing about this project was actually that I could work with our own product on a daily basis, and the whole team could. So that has been really a big support, and it was very interesting to see how things work when you really like a customer. How did you get the ball rolling? Well, I think there was already a lot of enthusiasm when I got into the team, so that wasn't really difficult. The ball was rolling already, and we did have a brand already, so I think that wasn't a problem. But what I did when I got into the team, I really tried to wrap things up, try to make some kind of structure, try to really find out which materials are very important that we review them, and some others we might not want to do them right away. So we really try to restrict things, make sure that we didn't spend as much time on a business card as we would do on a set of white papers, for instance. So for each of the materials or items, I try to really see like what is the importance of this, how important is this specific material for our end customers. And by doing that, we could create like a very big list, an extended list of materials and items that we had to make and work on, but still make sure that we kept some kind of focus. So there we defined the scope, and then things really took off with the team. So we started to look at the different materials and reviewed them. And we got in all the professionals inside and outside of the company to do that. So that's how it started, and I think it mainly was driven by a lot of passion, people really believing in our product and in our brand. Putting it all together, well, that's really the job of a brand manager, I would say. It's all about connecting the dots, I think. It's all about like aligning things. So by definition, when you want to align things, you need to just kind of list things first and see how things are and how they could be and how they could be better and who's working on those things. So I think when it's about putting the things together, putting the pieces together, it was like one of the main things in this project for me. Just keeping the overview on a daily basis, seeing what's going on, what's being developed, what is not there yet, which missing pieces are there, but also really going to detail. We had this kind of weekly meetings with the brand team, so to say the core brand team, so the project team that was working on this project. And then we just went through all the materials. We looked back the week before and we looked forward the coming week, and we really tried to find out like what are pain points, what are things that don't quite work yet, how can we improve things, what kind of new input do we need. So these weekly meetings were really important. And besides that, of course, we try to be in touch with each other all the time, communicate a lot, exchange stuff through Frontify mainly, and make sure we stayed aligned all the time. The ROI. Well, in branding, it's a long-term thing. It's something you won't see overnight. That's also the difficult thing about branding. It's always really difficult to tell people about it and make sure that people understand it's worth investing in it. So also in this case, I think it will show. I'm really convinced of the fact that some things will show soon, so within a few weeks from now. We have been out now for a few weeks already. I'm sure that you will see some effects here and there, some feedback, some positive effects in sales or marketing activities or feedback from the market. But over a longer time, I think the thing here is really about like staying consistent, sticking to what we have been working on. And then over time we will see the brand value go up and the sales accordingly, I'm sure. Did I learn anything? Well, I knew everything already, of course, but no, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the product itself, of course, but especially I think I learned a lot about my colleagues, people who are really like very professional. And it was great to see how everyone came in with his or her expertise, inputs, ideas, experience. It was just great to see how everything got together. And now it was on a rather small scale, but I would say the very same can be expected when we make this a wider project and follow up on this with the whole company. So I think I learned a lot from colleagues, a lot from about like new ways of doing things, about different cultures, also learned a lot from externals who were involved in the process. So there was a lot to learn, and there is still a lot to learn. So I think we should always continue doing that. Is it over yet? Well, it's not. I've always said that this is my favorite question. This is just the start. This is a warming up. So I think it's not very much about the things we have done now. It's really about the outcome and seeing this as a starting point and not as an end. So it might sound a bit weird because we have been putting so much time into this whole thing, but in the end now the work just starts. So we have a strong base now that we can work on, we can work further on, and which is also a very good foundation for any other things we plan to do. So we have the brand identity in place, we define things, we have a framework there, we have guidelines in place, everything is evolving. And of course we have Frontify as a tool to do that. It's scalable and it's flexible, so you can just have the brand evolve and make sure you document it in Frontify as well. So it's just starting, it's just a warming up, and I think from here we really take off and we can really explore new areas of brand management and branding and find out how we can do even more, push ourselves to the limits and go the extra mile. So I'm sure there will be quite some interesting things coming up soon. And of course there's the more appealing part to it, that is about like emotions, and it's about people and about culture. And I think that's also an area that we really have to get deeper into now that we have finished this project.